Firm, and so it is. Amen. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Again, if you're tuning in on live stream, we really appreciate you to make a comment. My name is Reverend Jan Mark, and I will be bringing the lesson today, which is spiritual mind treatment. Spiritual mind treatment. Today, I am bringing you a message of hope and a message of certainty in a time where there appears to be much uncertainty. I'm bringing you a message of freedom in a time where many are feeling isolated. A message of love in a time where there appears to be much fear. I am here today to raise your consciousness, not any red flags. And I want to start this talk by something that has been rolling over in my mind the last 7 days. This word social distancing. Get rid of it. Throw it out of your mind. We are social human beings. If you need extra personal space, if you're used to having 3 feet, take 6. If you're used to having 2, take 4. If you want 5, normally take 10. But do not use the word social distancing. Remove it from the lexicon of your thought. We are social beings. We are meant to be together. With that said, I'm going to move on to my topic, spiritual mind treatment. I'm going to raise your spirits today and raise your consciousness to the unending divinity within each and every one of you. We all aspire to be more. We want to realize more life, more prosperity, more health, better relationships, each and every day. Tuning in today, I'll teach you how to do that. There's 5 steps to spiritual mind treatment. Well, there's actually 6. There's actually 6, and I'll be sharing with you the 6th step. The first step is to recognize. Recognize that there is a power in the universe for good, and you can use it. This power is God. This power is always available, ever present in your time of need. The second step is unify with this power. Know that this power lives within you. In the center and the circumference of your being is this great intelligence. We call it divine mind. Many people call it other things. And then speak your word into the universe. Declaration. Decree it. Put it out to the universe. Put out what you want. Step 4 is to give thanks. And step 5 is to release it. Now the hidden step. Step 6 is to practice. Practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice the art of spiritual mind treatment, the art of healing prayer, the better you will become at it. We live in a universe of unlimited possibilities. We live in a universe of unlimited possibilities. Our Creator is in control of the universe. It is not my job to run the universe, and it is not your job to run the universe. The only thing you need to run is your own mind. Do not fear, for God is with you. The one mind of God will see you through your present situation, whatever that may be. Now, let's continue on and get into the art of spiritual mind treatment. Prayer that works. That's what spiritual mind treatment is. Prayer that works. Crystal, would you mind bringing me a cup of water? Prayer that works. Getting prayer to work for you. That's what you'll learn today. That's what I'm here to expand your consciousness on. You can pray your way into anything and out of everything. You can pray your way into anything and out of everything. It has worked for me and countless millions across this planet. Since I was born, it's been written in all the holy books, the explanation of how it works, right here in the Science of Mind textbook, the first 4 chapters. It will do your spirit some good. It will do your spirit some good by immersing yourself in the wisdom of mental science and how to use the power of your mind effectively. How to use the power of your mind effectively. Power of your mind effectively. Prayer is indestructible against the forces of nature. Something's been going through my mind this last 2 weeks. I stand unshakable amid crashing worlds. One of my teachers, Paramahansa Yogananda, used to always say that. I stand unshakable amid crashing worlds. Prayer is indestructible against the forces of nature. Call that which is not as if it were so, and the unseen becomes seen. That's how the Bible puts it. Call that which is not as if it were so, and the unseen becomes seen. Everybody out there on the World Wide Web, say this with me. Call that which is not as if it were so, and the unseen become seen. Positive thinking works. Positive thinking gets results. The great Norman Vincent Peale taught thousands and thousands of people how spiritual mind treatment works through the power of affirmative prayer. You have a body, you have a mind, a soul. Feed it with truth. Feed it with truth. Audio visual, zoom in on this. See that? Constant reminder. Make one. Put it up on your refrigerator. Feed it with truth. Take a phrase from the Bible, from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Diamond Sutra, the Tao Te Ching, your favorite holy book. Take it from Ernest Holmes. Take a phrase that resonates with you. And roll it over in your head. Roll it over in your mind. Memorize it until it becomes automatic. Train your mind. Feast on truth. Feast on truth. Do not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. Do not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. Did you hear me out there? Do not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. You can never solve your problems by focusing on them. You have to move through your problems by cooperating with your answer. You can fight your problems, but you can cooperate with your answer. You can fight your problems or cooperate with your answer. Ernest Holmes said, "A trained mind is the most powerful thing in the universe." A trained mind is the most powerful thing in the universe. On page 301 of the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes says, "Remember, good is the silent power behind all things, always ready to pour into your experience that which we need." Good, God, is the silent power behind all things. Know this, brothers and sisters. Come to a full realization in your heart and in your mind that God is the power within you. The power beating your heart, the power that lifts you up to a higher place, the power that sings with joy through you as you praise and worship the God within you and the God of the universe. It is written, we live and move and have our being in Him. We live and move and have our being in Him. Moving on, the art of spiritual mind treatment. I'm going to share a story with you. I give a workshop up in Sierra County. There's two things I love most in this world: God and the hot springs. I'm intoxicated on God, and I'm intoxicated on the hot springs. My two favorite things in the universe. So I'm up there giving a workshop on spiritual mind treatment. And one of the participants was in the hot springs with me later. Now this young lady had a foot problem, and she had a knee problem. It was causing her some discomfort. And I asked her, I said, would you like healing? Now, I actually whispered because this pool was a meditation pool, so we weren't supposed to be talking. But I could discern her discomfort. I could discern her discomfort. And she looked at me and she said yes. So I knelt down on one knee and put my hand on her foot and prayed a prayer, knowing the truth that she was whole, perfect, and complete. Her hand moved to her knee, and I prayed over her knee to know the truth. Afterwards, I asked her, how are you feeling? She said, I feel great. Thank you. I said, don't thank me. It's the power within that doeth the work. God within doeth the work. I'm just a conduit. Don't take any credit for your work. Take money if that's your profession, that's okay. But don't take any credit. You're just a conduit. You're just a conduit for God's mind working through you. The power of the universe will work through you. I've found out in my many, many years of prayer healing that the humbler you become, the more the power moves through you. The humbler you become, the more the power moves through you. Greater works shall ye do. Now, I'm not the only metaphysician in this community or in this county, but I'm a darn good one. I learned what I know by requesting and receiving affirmative prayer from dozens of practitioners all over Northern California. All over Northern California. A year and a half to 2 years I spent going to the different centers for spiritual living. And every chance I got, I would accept affirmative prayer for me. I had an interest in the art of healing, an earnest desire to know how to use this power in the universe for good. As I paid attention to the consciousness of each of these ministers and practitioners, I listened to their conviction, the words they used, the tone of their voice. I listened very intently. And as they spoke those words, I came to realize the power that animated from them. I know that my words have power, the power of God behind them. I know that my sisters and brothers also in this community have the power of God behind their words. Now, I'm not afraid to call a practitioner in the art of spiritual mind treatment and ask for prayer. After the campfire, I lived in a 42-foot travel trailer. It sent me back $20,000. Now, for some people, those things are hard to get rid of. But I didn't want that to be my case. I had already moved out of the park that it was parked in, and the rent was still being collected. I had it listed on rv.com, and for 2 weeks, nothing happened. 2 weeks. I'm sitting here with this 42-foot behemoth, wondering what am I going to do with it? Well, Spirit spoke to me. Call a practitioner. So I called up my friend, Monty Cameron. Presto. Sold a week later for $500 more than I paid for it. These practitioners that we have in this center, Kathy, Michael, Carolyn, Lisa, Sandy, Connie, Andy, they all have the capacity and the desire and the love in their heart to pray for you, to know the truth for you. Use them. I implore you to call them, to use them. Luke chapter 11, verse 11. If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he for a fish give him a serpent? The metaphysical definition of this verse from Luke is saying that your prayer is not going to go unanswered. Your prayer is not going to go unanswered. When you pray, never think of your problem or shortcomings as you fill your mind with prayer. Contemplating the problem lends the substance of your thought power to it and makes it even more ferocious. In addition to that, the instant the thought of a problem comes into your prayer, your Christ elevation has been lost. Listen to these words very carefully, practitioners. The instant the thought of a problem comes into your prayer, your Christ elevation has been lost. Sometimes that's why they call this the lost art. Healing by mind and mind alone. So we know what Luke 11:11, those numbers stand for. Manifest quickly, those of you who are into numerology. When you pray, pray the way Jesus commanded. Pray believing, and you shall receive. Spiritual mind treatment is believing and receiving, just as Jesus taught. Jesus did not say maybe your prayer would be answered. He did not ask a bunch of questions or the life story of the crippled man whom he asked to stretch out his hand. He didn't start asking him a bunch of questions, did he? No, it is only written, he saith to the man, stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like the other. Stretch forth thine hand. Trust in the universal law of mind. It knows what to do and how to do it. Trust in the universal law of mind. It knows what to do and how to do it. My sister companion to the Science of Mind textbook is the Course in Miracles. I had been facilitating that for over 9 years. That book teaches me that there is a power in the universe for good and it can use me. There is a power in the universe for good and it can use me. We have an online class here. Join it. That book prepares my mind, the knowledge in it that I take and absorb, that truth that I feast on. It prepares my mind and it clears in my mind an altar. It unlearns all of the negative junk that the world is trying to put in it. And it prepares my mind for miracle-mindedness. Prepare an altar in your mind for miracles. We're having a cosmic reboot in the year 2020. Perfect Vision 2020. Step back and let the power of the universe lead the way. Step back and let truth lead the way. There's 83 pages out of 504 before you hit meditations in this book on the teachings of Jesus and the New Testament. It's about 20% of this book. Why do you think Ernest Holmes focused so much on those teachings? Because he was adept in the art of spiritual mind treatment. And he learned that. He learned that very carefully. And he made it work. Law works if you work it. If you have that book sitting on your shelf, dust it off. Pull it out. Read it and practice. And then practice some more. If you don't have it, go buy it. Read it. Read it until you get it. It's this philosophy right here is a way of life. You can blend it with any religion you belong to. I don't care if you're a Mormon or Buddhist. I don't care if you believe in just rocks. I like rocks, personally. But this philosophy will train your mind in a positive direction and teach you the art of spiritual mind treatment, or affirmative prayer as we call it. Moving on. All things are possible to him who believes. Ask yourself this question. When are you going to use prayer? When are you going to use prayer? When you're already in trouble? When you're knee deep in it? When your neighbor develops COVID? No, start now. Start using prayer now. Do not wait until you're knee deep in it. In our philosophy, we have a saying, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. We speak that which is not as if it were so until the unseen becomes seen. We speak that which is not as if it were so until it manifests as our reality. Your words carry power. Place in your subconscious mind what you really believe in. Let it sink down deep into the subconscious, and your demonstration will have to take place. Your subconscious mind is an inexhaustible storehouse of power. It knows neither fatigue, no worry, nor doubt. The Spirit of God will work and speak to you through your subconscious mind. Learn how to tap into the hidden power of your subconscious mind. Now I want to talk about affirmations. They're the lifeblood of our teachings as well. Affirmations. They work. They work on correcting negative thinking. If you have a good negative in your mind that you've been harboring for a long time, do yourself a favor and correct it. If you have a good negative, a real good one, that you have been harboring in your mind for a long time. I know, because I've had them. And I know everyone out there watching has had them and has them. Now is the time to correct it. Now is the year to correct it. The year of 2020, perfect vision. It's time to start seeing yourself clearly, that you're creating your own reality by your thinking. If you have to correct your thought 1,000 times a day, do it. If this negative keeps popping up, remove it, out, gone, dismiss it, get rid of it. Put something new in. Put a new thought in, a new thought. This science of mind is not going to work for you if you're only using it 5% of the day and you're being negative the rest of the day, 95% of the day. You have to continually correct your thought if you have negative thoughts. Get rid of them. Let me share a story with you. Many people will relate to this. It's a large challenge. It's a community-wide challenge. I had 6 burnt pine trees that I had to deal with. They were the bane of my existence for about a year. These towering trees burnt to a crisp. Of course, they were left for me to deal with. Well, I demonstrated them, so I needed to be responsible for them. Now, I had a great deal of love for these trees. A great deal. More than you'll ever know. But these trees actually healed me in my time of need. They actually did a spiritual mind treatment for me, but I'm not going to get into that today. That's for another time. I got the quote, $25,000. $25,000 to remove 6 trees. That's worse than a $10 roll of toilet paper on Amazon. All right, what did I do? Well, I got tired of worrying and ruminating about it, and I just said, I'm going to call up my friend Deborah. I need to call someone that's way out of here, someone that I could just get a treatment from and be done with it. I called her up. My old friend from Fremont, where we took classes on the science of mind together. I listened to her give me the treatment over the phone. Presto! 2 months later, I was back in Butte County. Went up to my property. The most expensive tree was cut down. The stump was ground, the hole was filled up. I don't even know who did it. I just saw it laying there in the neighboring mobile home park. So 1 down, 5 to go. I said, that was easy. 2 weeks after that, I got a quote from a guy who was next door to me with a big machine that looked like he was picking up these trees with chopsticks. Spirit told me to go talk to him. I went over there. I said, who is that guy? He said, his name's John. I said, I asked him to give me a call. He said, well, he's busy. I said, well, can I get his card? The man hands me his card. I called him up. He gave me his secretary's phone number. I got 3 bids. $250, $450, $650. He said he'd clear them off my property. I chose the middle way, $450. Now that's a lot better than $25,000. I chose the middle way. That's how treatment works. Treat and move your feet. Now let's talk about the middle way. The middle way is perhaps the easiest way of getting out of your own way. Who taught the middle way? Siddhartha Gautama. He taught us the middle way in the Eightfold Path. Legend has it he was a prince and he walked away from a wife and a newborn infant in the wee hours of the early morning. He walked away because he had a calling for truth, and that calling for truth was stronger than anything else in the universe. It was his calling in life. Do you have a calling? Is there something sitting in the back of your mind that you've been wanting to do for 2 years, 20 years, 40 years? Think about what you really want to be doing with your life while we have this time of forced introspection. Write it down on a piece of paper, stick it to your refrigerator. Meditate on it. Visualize it. Ernest Holmes says, imagination is not wistful daydreaming. It's literally fire from heaven. Your imagination is not wistful daydreaming. It's fire from heaven. Coming back. The middle way. Even today we hear the words of the Buddha, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. I give great thanks for the Buddha's teaching. How to empty out my mind, how to detach from the surface mind and the appearances of the world. Most of it does me no good. Sometimes it's hard for beginners to comprehend Buddhist philosophy. Mind, no mind. Sometimes it just doesn't sink in. But in the first 4 chapters of this book, and in the first 30 lessons in the Course in Miracles, it'll teach you the basic concepts of how to empty out your mind, how to free your mind from the distractions and the appearances of the world, the fear of the world, the negatives of the world. A still mind can become your best friend. It's also, your mind is your best friend, but it's also your worst enemy. I have a saying that I came up with: to be great, you must think great. To be great, you must think great. But you can't think great from a busy, confused mind. God cannot think through you if you have a confused mind. The other day I was at Home Depot. And I was patient in line with a little extra personal space. Now I like Home Depot because their sign says, keep 6 feet apart. But I don't own stock in Home Depot, so I'm not plugging them. Anyways, coming back to this story. So I get up to the register and it's my turn to check out. And the young man is ringing up the material for my new home. And I look at him and I ask him, how do you like getting off early? And he says, it's great. So I said, yeah, this is the way it used to be 100 years ago. And he replies, I get to get off at a decent time and go home and spend time with my family. I don't think the hardware stores were open until 9 o'clock 100 years ago. We're in a cosmic reboot. Take advantage of the opportunity you have to spend with your family, your friends, your loved ones. Even if you can only do it by a phone call, because some of them might live in places that you don't want to be going to. Give no thought for the morrow will take care of itself. The great Jesus said that. Take time to meditate, to go within, to pray, to read your books, pray some more, meditate, and listen. Dr. Barker had an answer for everything. He taught it to his student Tom Costa was passed down to me. 3 words: treat, treat, treat. Treat, treat, treat. Pray, pray without ceasing. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. If you want treatment to work, you must have a spirit of power and a deep abiding love for God, ourselves, and our brothers and sisters. The flame of love shall burn in your heart. The power of the mind will calm your nerves. I'm going to wrap up my sermon with a couple of readings. I'm going to start with the Science of Mind textbook. On page 167, Ernest Holmes writes, "What is a practitioner? The one who attempts to heal himself or another through a recognition of the creative power of mind and the ever availability of good is a mental or spiritual practitioner. Such a one refuses to allow negative thoughts to control his mind, his consciousness. He endeavors to greet the divinity in every man he meets. Greet the divinity in every man or woman you meet." Ernest Holmes goes on to say, "Affirm that the mind is continually impressed with the images of right action, and that everything in your life is controlled by love, by harmony, peace, and everything you do prospers." Everything you do prospers. If God is for you, who can be against you? One with God is a majority. Okay, I've talked long enough. It's time for me to wrap this up. If you're at home, if you're on Radio Land, tuning in to this live stream broadcast, I invite you to take a few deep breaths. If you're up, come back and sit down in front of your screen. I'll give you a second. Because what I have to say is very, very important. There is no reason for not feeling comfortable in this great cosmos. There is no reason for feeling comfortable in this great cosmos. People with self-conditioned, linked minds may fear the unknown, but there is no reason for you to do this. You know that everything and anything that you need to know, you will know when you need to know it. You do not need to know the future or fear the future. For you are creating your future with your present attitudes. A trust in the general business of life is essential to well-being. It comes from seeing yourself correctly. You are not a biological accident. You are a programmed individual, individualizing the magnificence of life. You are important to life. That which created you and brought you this far will take care of you for the rest of eternity. You are a citizen of the universe, and no claim that you can make is too much for the power which is within you to accomplish. This power knows no limitation, not even the ones you have placed within your own thinking. Give this power great works to do by maintaining great ideas in your consciousness. The creative process of your subconscious mind is inexhaustible. Give it great goals to accomplish. Half of what I know I learned from this man. He brought the science of mind to the East Coast, and then he brought it to the West Coast too. I'm thankful for all my teachers, I'm thankful for all of you tuning in today by live stream. I bless every one of you. God blesses every one of you. Lay your head down in peace tonight with a clear conscience, knowing that you've done the best you can. But continue to do better. Strive to do better. Use prayer. Expect a call from one of your practitioners. Call me. Call them. Reach out to us. That concludes my talk. Namaste.